Hello, everybody, and welcome to the monthly Oracle Wisdom for February 2026. My name is Natalie Sadie, and we are going to have a look at what the cards have to tell us for the month ahead. We are doing pick a pile this month like we do every month with the monthly reading. So I am going to show you the crystals that are on top of each pile. I need you to take a moment, take a breath, pause this video if you need a moment to think about which crystal or crystals are speaking to you. And, you know, if there's two that are calling to you, watch the two piles. If there's three, you know what? Maybe there's a message for you in each of the readings. So let's get started. We have Tibetan Tektite on pile number 1. Pile number 2, we have Granite from Rockport, Massachusetts. And pile number 3, we have Amethyst. So like I said, take a moment, think about which crystal speaks to you, which one are you drawn to immediately. If there is two, like I said, go with them both and we'll see what happens. Okay, we are going to start with pile number 1. Okay, so for those of you that picked pile number 1, which is the Tibetan Tektite, let's have a look. Now, cards were flying out. We're starting with the Future Higher Self Oracle, a MahrukhX deck. And so the first card out, we're going to have a look at all of these and then we'll break it down. Don't take action where there's a feeling of resistance. A powerful change will transform your life. Learn how to honor and treat your body well. You are currently under construction. Please be patient. Learn new things. It will help you in the future. Don't compare your life to others. Your journey is your own. Okay, so the first thing that I get when I'm looking at all of these cards is that this is a moment to be patient. I feel like you're almost like a horse at the gate, just ready to go, ready to go. You're tired of waiting. And I know that we've been stuck in this place of, you know, feeling like we're treading water. And I talked about this, I don't know if it was in one of the weekly readings or if it was in the last monthly reading, but when we get to the end of any year, so December for me is always a very strange month in that we're tired from the year that was, we're not yet in the new year's energy, and so we're feeling frustrated and like we're ready to go, and things just aren't happening because everybody else is on holidays. They're enjoying their family, they're enjoying the holiday period. And you know, for those people that love their work and they're sort of ready to go, right, I'm feeling inspired. I want to do this. I want to do this. But there's nobody around to collaborate with because everybody's in that space of taking time. And I feel like that feeling has kind of transferred into January. And I think part of that is we're waiting for this huge conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, which is happening in February this month. So there are big shifts that are coming, but we just haven't gotten there yet. So first of all, I think that if you're trying to push something and it's just not working, you need to take the block as a sign that it's not time yet. Everything happens in divine timing. And I understand as an Aries, as a manifestor, as somebody that wants everything to have happened yesterday because I want to keep going. There are moments in time where you just have to accept that the divine timing of this is saying no. And I think that's something that you need to remember this month. And even though I'm jumping ahead, you've got the card literally telling you you're currently under construction. Please be patient. So there are other things that are going on that need to be in place before you take that leap out into the world, or before you really sort of get going with stuff. So there is a powerful change that is coming, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is attached to this conjunction that's coming up. This conjunction is huge. You not only have two of the outer planets meeting, but they're meeting at 0 degrees of the first sign of the zodiac, which is Aries. So whichever house that lands in for you, that's the area of life that it's going to be affecting. So if this is happening in your 10th house, like it is for me, this is going to have ramifications for your work life. So if that's what you're waiting on, this may be sort of the time where you need to go. And then the thing with this conjunction is you've got Neptune, which is dreams and delusion and all these sort of ethereal almost themes. And then you've got Saturn, which is about contracts and structure and pulling things back and getting everything lined up. So there's going to be a push and pull there. But my opinion of this is, while it may create hurdles, it's going to allow you to dream about the situation you want to create in that area of your life. And with Saturn there, you're going to have the ability to actually build it, but you're going to be called to do the work in order to do that. So there is a powerful change coming. I feel like you're just going to have to remember that you can't wait for everything to just happen around you. You need to be proactive in this process. I don't know if in your pursuit of go, 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 you haven't been taking care of yourself, but this is a month where you need to pay attention to what your body needs, and you're going to have to honor that and make a point of taking care of yourself. Maybe it's drinking less. Maybe it's changing your diet. Maybe it's upping your exercise that you're doing. Maybe you need to start walking or going to the gym, pick up a new fitness class, whatever it may be. You need to be taking better care of yourself. Now, the other thing is, I know you want to go, 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 but it looks like there is something coming in that you need to learn before that new chapter is coming in. So this could be something as simple as reading a book. Maybe there's a topic that you're interested in, and while you're stuck in this place of treading water, you need to pick that book up and read it. Maybe there's something in there that you need to know before you step into that next part. There could be a course that pops up that you go, oh, I want to do that, a mentor to work with. There's something that you need to know. So don't be sitting there thinking, I know it all, I'm ready to go, and let's just do it. There's clearly something that that's going to help you. So be open to that. And then one of the worst things we can do is look at what everybody else is doing and think, well, they're doing so much better than me, and why isn't this happening? And the reality is they're running their own race, and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes for them. I always talk about people that, you know, they seem like an overnight success. We never heard of this person. Then they do a movie, and all of a sudden it's like, they launched the world and it's amazing, and good on them. But what we don't see most of the time, sometimes we hear about it in interviews after the fact, but that these people had been trying to act for 10 years and they were getting nowhere. And there are so many stories of this where somebody was ready to quit. They just went, I have no money. I'm going to move back to my hometown. I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore. And then all of a sudden they get an audition and they think, oh, I'm over this, but you know what? I'll do the audition. I'm not going to get it, but I'll do it, and then I'll move back home. That's the role. That's a breakout role that works for them. And then they're kicking goals and doing amazing things, and that's great for them. But then all the people who are struggling are sitting there going, why can't I get a break? I've been doing this for a year. Okay, well, they'd been doing it for 10 years. And in that time, they were maybe taking acting classes and working with different people and, you know, doing jobs for free or minimal amounts of money. And, you know, there was no recognition, you know, getting so close to getting that role, but not getting over the line with it. So don't compare yourself to where somebody else is at, because maybe they worked that much harder. Maybe It was just their time, and the divine timing of it all works really, really well. So these are all things that we need to pay attention to. So just focus on yourself, focus on putting one foot in front of the other. And when you're focused on your journey, it becomes so much easier. The noise of focusing on what everybody else is doing is a distraction to you. It stops you from getting where you want to go and where you need to go, because instead of that energy going into yourself, it's going into everything else around you. Now we've got 3 cards from Wild Woman Rising, which is an Angi Sullins deck. So the first card out is Restore Balance. And I think this is the issue. I think you've been so ready to go and so frustrated and so focused on where you want to go that there's been this imbalance of it's all focused on that and not taking care of your body. So this is a moment right before this change comes in and things really shift. You need to shift your approach to this. You need to shift how you're taking care of yourself. You need to shift the work-life balance, or if this is a relationship thing for you that is going to shift, you need to stop being all focused on that and to the detriment of everything else that's going on in your life. Fight like a girl. This is about tapping into your divine femininity. And male or female, we're all made up of yin and yang. There's a masculine and a feminine side to us. And so often we're out of balance. We're either too much in the feminine and we don't have, as women, and we don't have that masculine balance where we can sort of take care of ourselves. On the flip side, if you're a man and, you're so masculine and afraid of feelings and the emotional softer part of you, then that gets thrown out of balance. And the reality is there is a power to both. There is a power to the divine masculine. There is a power to the divine feminine. And it is time to tap into the divine feminine. And again, this is coming after the card Restore Balance has come out. So this is about not only creating balance in your outer life, like in the outside world, but balance within, balance between the masculine and feminine. Champion peace. So again, there are 2 parts to championing peace. One is in the outside world. Are you at war with some people because you're not getting what you want? Are you creating conflict because you're not getting what you want? The other thing is internal peace. Are you at war with yourself because you're comparing yourself to other people and that has been your focus? Are you looking at somebody else's relationship and going, well, why does theirs seem perfect and mine doesn't? Social media doesn't tell the full story, and often just people talking, unless you're super close, aren't telling you the truth. So you don't know what's going on with them. And maybe they are blissfully happy. And if they are, fan-fucking-tastic. Good on them. We need more happiness and peace in the world in terms of relationships. But there needs to be peace in your life for you. We need it in the world and in the collective, and we need to know how to sort of move through this world. But there is, I feel like there is an element which is external with the people around you, but I think a bigger part of it is the war that's going on inside you, whether it's displeasure with where your life is at this moment, if it's jealousy of what you see as success around you and that the same thing isn't happening for you. But this is a moment where you need to find that peace. And I think part of it is going to come when you restore balance. And pardon me, I also think a lot of this is going to come through with the learning how to treat your body well. Because when we're abusing our bodies, when we are drinking too much, if we're taking drugs, if we're smoking, and we're doing things to break our body down as opposed to build it up, there's no way you can be in balance when that is happening. So this is a moment to really stop and breathe and focus on those things so that when this big shift happens in whatever area of your life that it is taking place in, that you have a solid foundation for the next extension of this building that we're creating in this thing called life, so that you have a solid foundation so that no matter what comes afterwards, things can be rocked and jostled, but it can't be destroyed. If you build something on a foundation that is not solid, that's when things get destroyed and you have to start again. Okay, so then we're finishing up with one card from the Rainbow Oracle, Jasmine Safi's deck, one of my favorites. And this card is Sacred Mother. The seeds of your creations are blossoming. Time to birth the new with hope and enthusiasm. So everything is there. This is about getting ready. And this is confirmation about what I said about the foundation and needing this to be rock solid, because you do not want to birth something new when you have an unstable foundation. So I totally get the frustration with timing and wanting everything now or yesterday or whenever it may be. But this is a moment to stop and be grateful for this moment and this pause before the entire world is rocked and our entire fabric of society is going to shift. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just things are shifting and moving and changing, and we need to be prepared for it. And when the outer planets are doing these massive transitions, it is going to affect us as a collective as well as on a personal level. And for a long time, it's starting very long cycles. I mean, the Saturn cycle is around 30 years. So you need to be ready for that. So be grateful for this moment where it's not time, where you can take a moment to take care of yourself and take care of your body and get into balance, because then you will be ready to soar. Okay, so now we're moving on to pile 2 for those of you that picked the granite from Rockport, Massachusetts. All right, so we are starting with the Future Higher Self Oracle from Mahrukh. I'm just going to draw all these cards out and then we'll break it down. Following your heart will lead you to the right things. If all you're doing is waiting for the really big moments, you won't value and appreciate the small ones. Realize you have the qualities to be a leader. You will be surrounded by people with different agendas. It may scare you away, but fight it. You've got this. Believe in yourself and your ability to carry out your dream. Okay. So I think that this is a month where you're stepping into leveling up with the direction that you're moving in. So follow your heart. Oh my goodness. Following your heart will lead you to the right things. You already know where it is you're meant to go. I feel like you're starting to question yourself a little bit, but you need confirmation that you're doing the right thing. And I also think your focus is a little misguided in that you're so focused on that and the end goal that you're missing a lot of the little wins along the way. And I always talk about when there's a huge goal that you need to break things down into steps. So, okay, I'm here and I want to go here. And that is a huge leap and I have no idea how to get to there. And so then I always say, then you make smaller goals so that then you're not focused on this, you're focused on the first one. And then when we figure out that goal, then we figure out the steps in between. So everything gets broken down into much, much, much smaller steps. Because often when we're looking at that big goal, it's so big and so wild that we go, that's impossible. When you've broken it down into all those different things, all of a sudden everything's achievable. Great, I can do this, that's not a problem. So when you do that, you're then going for the smaller things, and all of a sudden you're at the first stepping stone. And then you do the same thing, figure out between stepping stone 1 and 2, what are the smaller goals that you need to get to stepping stone 2. If you are doing that and you're on the path, amazing, fantastic. That's exactly what you're meant to be doing. But if you're so focused on the end goal that you are unable to celebrate each of those little wins, and here's the thing, you shouldn't just be celebrating stepping stone 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and however many there are up until you reach the final goal. You should be celebrating each of those little steps, because that is part of the journey. That is the part that is teaching your soul the lessons that you need to learn, whether it be patience, whether it be the skill set that you need to be capable of, really achieving that final goal. Whatever it is, you should be celebrating that. And it doesn't need to be a big celebration with everybody else in your life, but it could be that little moment of sitting down and going, this is the thing. This is, I'm doing it and I'm getting there, and yay for me. And I'm going to go out and buy myself my favorite food tonight. Or I'm going to give myself the day off because I can and I deserve it, and that's my reward for getting this far. So make sure that you are doing that, because it will fuel you for the rest of the journey. But that acknowledgement of what it is you're achieving is a big deal. And people always say, it's the journey, it's not the destination. And it's very, very true in so many senses of the word. Now, getting to the destination is important. I completely understand that, because then when we get there, there's a big celebration and then we move on to the next thing. But you need to celebrate the entire way there, because let's say the big goal takes you 20 years. You'd need to be able to enjoy those 20 years, not just getting there and going, wow, that's 20 years of my life that's gone. So those 20 years need to be an adventure. The other thing is, you need to believe in yourself. Realize you have all the qualities of a leader. You have the ability to do this, but you're questioning it, and you need to stop. You need to have that belief in yourself. You'll be surrounded by people with different agendas. It may scare you away, but fight it. You got this. So here's the thing. If you're the leader in all of this and you have the ability to do this, if there's too much coming at you, it's your job to sit there and go, okay, I'm going to break this down, and this is how I'm going to do it. And okay, we've got this and we've got this. That's a great idea. That's a terrible idea. We need to bring these two together and merge them. There's ways to make all of this work. And through this journey, whatever goal it is you're trying to achieve, there are going to be challenges. And this is just one of them. And you need to be able to pull this together and get rid of the ideas that don't work for you or that don't work for this goal, and be able to sort through all of that. So take the challenge, because it's going to serve you again later on. There's going to be things that come up that make you go, this is why I had to go through that to get to here. And then the final message from the Future Higher Self Oracle is that you've got this, but it's up to you to believe in yourself. So you're the only one that can do this. If you're waiting for other people to come in and tell you that you've got this, outside validation is amazing, but it doesn't matter how much outside validation there is if you don't believe in you. So you have to trust that you can do this. So then we're moving on to the Wild Woman Rising. And the first one is hold true to your vision. So this is a time for you, like I said, to believe in yourself. And the cards are just ramming it home. And I feel like you feel weighed down by by doubt and fear that maybe you don't have this. And I know that as we get older, and I speak to people of all different ages, and we talk about being an adult, and everybody feels like an imposter. We all feel like we're fumbling our way through, but somehow, you know, we're all getting older and we're all figuring it out. We're all getting to the other side, and we're surviving, and, you know, we're married, we have children, we're in relationships, we have these grown-up jobs, and it's time for you to truly believe in yourself. It's time for you to step in and go, I am here and I've got this, because you do. Then we have use your cunning. They always say cunning as a fox. This is where you have to engage that very sharp brain of yours and trust it. Trust the way that your mind works. This is the whole thing. We all think differently. They always say men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I think about my own personal relationship, and we function as very different humans. We express ourselves very differently, but there's a way that we come together. But the beauty of being so different is that we learn from each other. We learn another perspective. We learn a different way to communicate, to move through things. So I think this is coming in with the self-doubt. You don't think that people will understand or necessarily want to do things your way, but you have the capacity to do this. You have the smarts to do it. And the reality is, innovation and new ideas and shifts in the way places operate or the world operates comes from people trusting their good ideas, from trusting the smart way that they've figured out how to maneuver through a problem. So it's time to trust your gut. It's time to trust your knowledge and go with it, because it's going to work. And then the final card from the Wild Woman Rising is remember your innocence. I feel like you've been jaded along the way, and part of that is why you don't believe in yourself. And it's interesting to me that they're talking about hold true to your vision and remember your innocence. And both of these are underwater cards. Like, this is coral, and you can see the water rippling on top, and it's got that sort of texture like the sun is coming through it. And then this one is obviously, she's under the water. She's got the octopus on her head and the shells and everything. And I feel like this is the moment where the hold true to your vision, she looks scared. She looks upset. You can see the mascara running. She's weighed down. But remember your innocence. It's incredibly peaceful. She's surrounded by coral. You can see the sunlight coming in. It's a brighter card. You've got the seahorse there. So it's time for you to free yourself of those weights, of anybody else's words that are stuck in your head and that you can't free yourself from, because it's not serving you. That is part of what is holding you back. So it's time to shake all of that off. Then we have a final card from the Rainbow Oracle, and it's Sovereign King. Claim your sovereign self and seize the throne of your own life. So this is the moment. This is a moment for you to step into who you are and your purpose. And this is what the universe is calling you to do. That is what this month is about. It's about freeing yourself from the shackles that you have imposed upon yourself or that you have allowed others to impose upon you. It is time to reclaim your desires, your wishes, your hopes, your dreams. It is time to reclaim your belief in yourself and really step into this world, your power, and trust. Trust that you know exactly what you're doing and exactly where you're going, because you do and you are. And now for those of you that picked pile number 3, which was the amethyst. Okay, so we're starting with the Future Higher Self Oracle. We will have a look at all of these and then go through them. If you need to break the rules, do it with conviction to make a difference. Don't lose yourself trying to hold on to someone. Remember, many of the clouds casting shadows aren't real. Be careful who you take advice from. To rise, you must let go of fear. Well, this is quite a month that you guys are having. So I feel like this is a month where you are going to surprise a lot of people and break the rules and really sort of go, fuck it, this is what I'm doing. And this, if you need to break the rules, do it with conviction to make a difference. I feel like this is going to be loud in terms of people around you are going to be shocked when you do this because they're used to you just going along with whatever it is that they think that you should. And, you know, sometimes doing things loudly, it can upset people, but you need that noise in order to create real change. And I know there have been a few places that I've worked when I've had side jobs working in the entertainment industry. You know, I've worked in retail and hospitality, all of that. There's been a couple of jobs where I've gone, fuck this, and I have left and made so much noise because there needed to be change where I was working because it was toxic and unhealthy. And so whatever it is where you're breaking the rules, make sure that you're doing it in a way that people know so that you are creating change in how you're doing it. And I feel like this is probably tied to the don't lose yourself trying to hold on to someone. So whether it be you're leaving a relationship or you're trying to hang on to a friendship, a business partner, there's somebody there, and it's possible that the breaking the rules and hanging on to someone isn't connected. I just feel like this is a month where things are really getting shaken up, but there is somebody that you're hanging on to. And listen, sometimes we fight for people because we love them and it's worthwhile doing. With that being said, though, if it's becoming an unhealthy attachment, then it's time to let go. And it becomes unhealthy when we are losing ourselves in that person and for that person, as opposed to hanging on to them, because that's what is good and healthy for us. So keep that in mind. And I think that there may be doubt or fear in what it is you're doing, and especially if it's you're letting go of someone or you're about to break these rules. Remember, many of the clouds casting shadows aren't real. So the thing with this is, so often when we are fearful, we're fearful of things that haven't happened and will never happen. We're creating scenarios in our head and we're going around and around and around in circles, and we're talking about all the possible outcomes or all the reason why somebody's doing something. And we're having made up arguments in our head and we're playing all of this out. And the reality is that most of the time, the worst case scenarios that we're imagining will never happen. They will never take place. It will never become a reality. So when you're playing these games in your mind, you need to remember that this isn't true. This hasn't happened yet, and it probably won't. So I used to, when I was younger, and I would get calls from people and they would say, hey, I need to talk to you. And we would talk about whatever drama was going on, whether it be relationship, work, whatever. And they would go round and round in circles. Okay. And I would listen and I would talk to them about it and go, okay, well, maybe it's this and maybe it's that and maybe all this stuff is going on. Now I have a rule. If people want to call me and talk about something, I will happily listen. If they want to call me and freak out about something that's going on and they want to, go through all the scenarios that could happen, and it's causing panic and fear, I will say to them, I love you. but we're not talking about things that aren't real. So we are not going to do this death cycle where we both get off the phone and we're both freaked out and stressed about whatever it is that's coming up. We don't know. So I'm happy for you to talk to me about how you feel. I'm happy for you to talk to me about the things that have actually happened and have actually taken place. But that is the extent of it. We are not talking about the what ifs. So do not get lost in that death cycle of, oh my God, this and this and this and all of these things are going to happen, because they're not. They're not. And maybe one or two of them could. Okay, great. Deal with that if it happens. Deal with that when it happens. Do not spend your time freaking out about something that's just a shadow or a figment of your imagination. And so this is why you need to be careful who you take advice from, because there are people in your life that will do that cycle with you, that love the drama of it, that love hearing bad news and all that sort of stuff going on. So be careful who you're listening to, because when you are speaking to people that want to get caught in that cycle of what ifs and go round and round in circles, that is where you are going to end up with bad advice on things that probably aren't happening. So just be very smart as to who you are listening to and who you're giving your time and energy to. And of course, the final card from here is, to rise, you must let go of fear. The scariest thing is to leap into the unknown. And especially if you're breaking the rules, we have rules in place so that everybody stays in line and everybody does what they're meant to do, and all is great in the world. The issue with being fearful is we stay within the confines of those rules, and this is what we need to stop doing. Some of the greatest moments in life have happened because somebody broke the rules. They did something they weren't meant to and created something magical. Or, you know, I always think about nights out that I've had with friends where we weren't even meant to have a night out, and we went out and got up to all sorts of random chaotic things, and these are the nights that we all still talk about. It was because we broke the rules. We went and did things we weren't meant to do. We snuck into a place that we weren't meant to be, or we went and saw somebody we weren't meant to see. Random shit happened because we were like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We didn't let fear win and go, oh, well, we can't do that. We have to do this and this and this. And when Anne and I do Gemini Rising, we always end, when we've got a guest on for the first time, we always end the show asking the same 4 questions of every guest. And one of the questions we ask is, what would your advice be to people on how to transcend fear? And most of the time, the answer is do it anyway. And it's because we let fear work as an invisible barrier. It's like these limited beliefs we create for ourselves. We couldn't possibly do that. We're not worthy of breaking the rules. We're not worthy of being in that space. We don't deserve this. We're not capable. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It is time for you to see the opportunities in front of you. And if you're scared to leap off that cliff because you think that no one will catch you, shut your eyes and do it anyway. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at the Wild Woman Rising cards. Create your own paradise. This is about letting go of all of the things that are restricting you, that are holding you back, all the ties to everything that doesn't serve you, for you to step into the world that you want to create. And if that's like being a woman with dreadlocks in the field and painting your face, great, do it. If it's about creating your own company, great, start doing that. Create whatever it is that serves you. If it's about, I don't know, making a sea change, go and do that. Go and look at how you can do that and create that life for yourself. Whatever it is time. This is the month to do it. Tell your story. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is a loud month for you. This is a time for you to break rules, make noise, let people know that you exist. and that you're here and this is what you're doing and this is where you're going. Now, when I say tell people this is who I am and where I'm going, tell them what they need to know. Tell them the part that they need to know without telling them everything that you're doing. People don't need to know your plans. They don't need to know exactly where you're going and how you're going to play something out. They just need to know that I'm not playing by these rules anymore. This is what I'm doing. Now, in all of this, you need to remember kindness. And in remembering kindness, it's twofold. It's being kind to those around you and creating a space for them so you can turn around and go, right, it is time for me to be selfish. It is time for me to step into and create the world of my dreams. That doesn't mean being an asshole to everybody around you. It means being compassionate. And if there's people around you that, you know, are maybe being Debbie Downers and saying, you know, you can't, don't get nasty with them. They might be telling you that not because you can't, but because they couldn't. And so this is where you need to have compassion for them and go, you know what? Thank you for your feedback. Great. And the whole thing is people don't realize that they're putting their own self-limiting beliefs onto you. I had it when I talked about moving to the US. People said, you can't do it. I tried and it didn't work. And this person went and it didn't work. Okay, well, I'm not them. And I don't believe that just because you couldn't, it means I can't. I've been here over 8 years at this point, and it was the best decision I ever made. Does my life look exactly the way that I thought it would? No. But am I still thinking this is the best decision I ever made? Abso-fucking-lutely. So I remember at the time when people were calling me and saying, you can't do this. I remember being so upset and so annoyed, and I was probably a little bit harsh. And one of the people actually called me years later and said, I owe you an apology. I told you you couldn't because I couldn't. And I thanked him for that. The other thing with remembering kindness is you have to remember to be kind to yourself. As you're making all of these changes and as you're releasing fear, and if you're sitting in that moment of being fearful, you need to be kind to yourself. You need to remember to speak kind, supportive words, because you're not going to be able to let go of fear if you are unable to be kind to yourself, because that negative self-talk will actually win. And then we're finishing up with the Rainbow Oracle and its body talk. Connect to the wisdom of your body for optimum health, wellness, and vitality. So as you're going through all of these changes, you need to remember to take care of you, because a lot of this stuff can be very jarring, and especially if you're being super loud as you're making all of these changes, it's very easy to get so caught up and have blinkers on that you can't see anything else. So just make sure that you're tuning in and taking care of you at a body and soul level. Make sure you're listening to the information that you're getting, and that your body, because your soul is wrapped up in this meat suit, that you're listening to the information that you're getting. Don't get so carried away that you stop listening to that, because it's so important that you hear what feedback you're getting. I hope these readings resonated with some of you, if not all of you. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not every reading is for every person. And also, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the show, but if you like this Tibetan tektite, Christina Matthews, who is a fellow high viber, that's one of the networks that I do a lot of my work with, High Vibe Network, with David Palmer, the Leo King. We had Christina on Gemini Rising yesterday. We did a special Sunday show. Thrilled to have Christina. She has all these incredible crystals. She makes crystal jewelry. She uses some insects to create incredible pieces, and we were talking about all of that on the show. This Tektite is from Christina, from when I spent some time with her on the Big Island. So make sure you go and check that out. I will have the link below. And I hope that everybody has the most wonderful February, and make sure you check out the weekly Oracle Wisdom for this week and every week following. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to keep these videos coming. Have a great February, everybody. I will see you for the next one.